Welcome back. I am so thrilled to have you here today because we are diving into an absolutely fascinating historical sci-fi case study straight out of the lore of the Unbreakable Will universe. We're going to look at a highly pivotal moment in this timeline, a moment that completely redefined the entire galactic hierarchy. If you love dissecting how underdogs overcome impossible odds and you want a clear, structured look at the mechanics of resilience, you are definitely in the right place. Our explainer today focuses on a legendary event famously known as the day aliens learned why humans never quit.
Okay, let's dive right into this. To really understand this event, we kind of need to set the stage. Picture it. The year is 22049. At this point in the timeline, humanity isn't the big, conquering, star-faring powerhouse you might see in other stories. In fact, we were widely considered the absolute weakest species in the entire galaxy, literally at the very bottom of the food chain. So the question we are exploring today is pretty simple. What happens when the weakest species in the galaxy goes to war? It's a classic underdog setup, but the execution in this universe is what makes it so incredibly compelling to study.
See, biologically speaking, we brought absolutely nothing to the table. We're talking no claws, no natural armor, no super strength. Frankly, the rest of the galaxy looked at our biological profile and just laughed. They concluded there was no way we'd ever survive a real interstellar war. But what they completely failed to quantify was our unbreakable determination. The tragic irony here, the rest of the universe measured our muscles, but they completely forgot to measure our minds.
Section 1. The Krath Invasion, Earth Under Attack.
So when the mighty Krath Empire finally invaded Earth, they were expecting a walk in the park. The scale of this invasion was just staggering. Their ships literally darkened the skies, and their devastatingly advanced weapons leveled entire cities within mere hours. And the rest of the galaxy? Well, they just watched. They fully expected an immediate, unconditional human surrender based entirely on our fragile biology.
But then, that alien logic completely broke down, leading us to the central question of our explainer. Why didn't the humans give up? The Krath were utterly confused. Usually, overwhelming force breaks an enemy's morale instantly, right? But for humanity, every single loss seemingly just made the survivors fight that much harder.
Section 2, the secret weapon, human defiance.
And this brilliantly illustrates the real turning point. To understand humanity's paradoxical response, we have to look past the military and focus on everyday human defiance. We're talking about engineers working completely without sleep to keep defense systems online, doctors treating wounded soldiers for days on end without a break, families who had lost almost everything sharing their very last scraps of food with total strangers. This united, society-wide refusal to break was like a collective immune response that the Krath simply couldn't comprehend.
This incredible defiance quickly progressed into a massive counteroffensive. Day 1 was that overwhelming invasion, but by the 6-month mark, Earth scientists and millions of citizen volunteers unveiled a massive, secretly built fleet. And the amazing part is, this fleet wasn't powered by some sudden discovery of super lasers. It was fueled entirely by sheer human determination. This incredible momentum led directly to a brutal final clash, a definitive 3-day battle that would decide everything. Section 3. The final lesson, a galaxy changed.
Now, what's really interesting here is the aftermath. After 3 unrelenting days, the seemingly invincible Krath Empire was actually defeated. As they retreated, the Kraft commander broadcast a final, humbling message to the watching galaxy. He said, "We underestimated humanity. They are not the strongest species, but they are the hardest to break." It was a staggering admission that physical strength is completely secondary to psychological resilience. There is a really profound takeaway here that extends right into our own everyday lives. Humanity's greatest weapon was never technology. It was simply the will to keep going. Think about that in the context of your own personal challenges. Your greatest asset in any hardship isn't necessarily your tools or your resources. It's your own unbreakable will. So, what's the ultimate lesson here? Never mistake kindness for weakness. The galaxy assumed our peaceful nature meant we were fragile, only to discover a core of absolute iron. Never challenge a species or a person that simply refuses to quit. So I'll leave you with this. The next time you feel outmatched or under-equipped in your own life, ask yourself, are you relying on your armor or your unbreakable will? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer.
Until next time, keep learning, stay focused, and whatever you do, just keep going.